All right, welcome back for episode 15 of a Runnin podcast, coming to you from Ke'a, Hawaii, on top of a volcano in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. That's about the third or fifth time that I've tried to get through that intro, but here we are once again. Thank you for joining me, and it's been crazy. How about you? How's your life been? Probably crazy too, because every morning I get up and turn on the news and some other crazy things happening. But anyways, it's been interesting. A lot less fireworks this year than normal. There's a little bit going off right now. You can probably hear it, but there's nothing I can really do about that. I've got some funny stories to tell. So hang in. I mean, they're my funny stories, so you might not find them humorous or even mildly amusing, but I'm going to try my best attempt at humor and get you updated on all the goings-on down on Beach Road. Let's see, where to begin. My son's birthday is coming up in a couple days, and so we've got all his stuff wrapped. Mentioned on the last podcast that I got him a bunch of running stuff, and so I've since been chided while sharing that information with some friends, and basically, it boiled down to: is this your dream, or is this what your son wants for his birthday? And I can honestly say, like 100% without any doubt. Or uncertainty. My son absolutely does not want to go running with me on a regular basis, but the point of getting this stuff for him is, number one, so he'll be just as prepared as me, and because I want to teach him about having the right gear. And I know I speak a lot about you don't need the fanciest stuff and all that jazz, but you do need, at a bare minimum, the right kind of stuff. So when you're going to be out running, you don't want to be chafing. You don't want to have to be pulling your shorts up every 20 seconds. You want stuff that fits good and that won't leave you hurting in pain. And I just want to teach them the rules of the road, like how to get out and enjoy running, how to quote unquote, do it right, or do it the best that I've learned how to do it. Kind of pass that on to him. And, it may be that he absolutely hates it. But I just know, like, thinking back on my life, I had almost zero contact with my father from the age of 0 to about 13. And so by the time I actually had a relationship with my dad, there was already a 13-year void. So growing up, didn't get to play catch, didn't get to, have my father in my life. I had some father figures in my life, and I'm certainly appreciative of them, because God only knows what I would have turned out like without them, at least. But the thing is, there's no replacement really for your own dad. And I didn't get to have that. And I've definitely, I've got suitcases and suitcases of issues. I don't want my son to have that. And if he is going to have, dad issues when he gets older, I want him to be because he decided not to spend time with me, and not the other way around, that I just ignored him for his entire life. And I don't want to give the impression that my dad ignored me. There were a lot of circumstances. I don't doubt that now that he knows me, he probably wishes he could ignore me a little bit more, but now he's stuck with me now. And, we do have a father-son relationship, and that's all great, but I don't want to harp on this subject too much. But yeah, just said all that to say, no, I'm not taking my son on forced marches through the desert. Um, I'm trying to, make some memorable moments and show him a few things. And, if he likes trail running, then, which I think he's going to, if past events have been any indicator, um, I think he will, once he figures out that every trip that I take out the door is not a death march through, jungle or desert or whatever. So he's had some good experiences, and he's had some that I know, pushed him because they pushed me even a little bit, and also the other adults that were with us. We did. I've mentioned this before. We did. I think it was 18-mile round trip, and that was through some pretty tough terrain. But he stuck it out. He held in there. There was some times where he got a little cranky, but I knew that all he needed was food and to rest for a minute and drink some scratch, and he'd be okay. And he was. Um, but yeah, it's just these things that I feel like I can pass on to him because God knows I can't pass on like super intelligence or any kind of like actual athletics because I've never been really all that good at anything. I've done all I can with soccer, and actually, if it wasn't for COVID, he'd be under the tutelage of another coach besides me that knows what they're doing. But yeah, so his birthday's coming up. I'm excited to see, what his reaction will be to getting these trail running type items. I've been thinking about getting him Garmin. I don't want to get him 945 or whatever I've got. I don't feel like he needs something um, that overboard. But I mean, I don't really feel like I actually need something that overboard. I just really thought it was a cool watch, so that's why I've got it. I like the pulse ox and the pulse on the wrist. I hate wearing those stupid heart monitor straps. But anyways, I've been thinking about getting him like a cheaper Garmin, just to kind of really get him outfitted. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, that's exciting thing number one. Exciting thing number two, we had our final presentation. We'll say not final exam, but final presentation for the first class in grad school last Thursday, and it went surprisingly well. We ended up getting a pretty good grade out of it, and so I was super happy about that. And glad that was over. Unfortunately, it's a fast-paced program, so I'm starting a brand new class on this Thursday, and I've already got 7 books to buy and an assignment due. It originally was due on the first day of class, and then the professor went and changed it to 2 days after the first class. So back at it. And it seems like this program, it's just a constant barrage of new assignments, basically like a new assignment each week. And each one is super layered and complex. So, but so far I'm enjoying it. Got a good group. I'm hoping that I'll get the same group for this next go around. We really gelled pretty well. And anyways, that was the second good thing. Let's see, what else is good? Days off. I had some days off. Some of those because I had to work on school stuff. Some of those because I had a migraine. So it's been a mixed bag. I've got a couple of days off. The end of this week, we're going to go to the other side of the island and take a boat trip. There was a special discount on boat trips for people in the medical field. And so we're going to go do that. And then my son's birthday. So awesome stuff. Some stuff that's not too awesome. I'll tell you a funny, not funny story about my MacBook. I'm recording this on the Mac desktop because a little bit of foreshadowing there. Because the other day, I think it was last week, but I can't remember what day. I want to say like Monday or Tuesday or something like that. So I'm in my truck, and I always bring with me to work one bottle of Pepsi and one bottle of Gatorade, and I'll have like some assorted other items that I don't like to carry in my hands. Okay, so some of you have already figured this out. I always take my MacBook with me to work because, number one, I need it for my class. And so it being like the final week, I wanted to have it with me every day just in case I needed to get on there for any reason and look at any kind of assignments or anything like that. Then also class starts at 2 and I get off at 2:30, so I usually take my lunch break to do the beginning of class. So I always have my MacBook with me, and the other reason is because I don't want to get stolen. If somebody comes and steals everything in the house, at least I would have my MacBook, one computer, and I could still do my podcast and schoolwork and whatever else I would need a computer for. So yeah, that said, I carry my computer in a bag to keep it protected. A little bit of foreshadowing. So I don't like carrying a bunch of stuff in my hand because, frankly, it just makes me look 10% less cool than I already don't look cool. So I put stuff in my bag. This is a habit. And that day was not unlike any other. I put the bottle of Pepsi, 24 ounces, again, foreshadowing, into my bag. No big deal. Everything's fine. I begin to walk from my truck to where I work, the office that I work in, which is maybe like a 2-minute walk from where I had parked. Most of you already got this figured out. I feel something on my leg, right? It kind of feels like a little tingle, maybe a little wetness. But I think, I run all the time. I sleep in a recliner because I seem to do better if I sleep on my back. And if I'm on a bed, number one, I can't sleep with other people because I'm really a light sleeper and I wake up too much. And then also I have the tendency to roll over on my side or my stomach, and that really hurts my back and I don't sleep as well. So I like to sleep in a recliner by myself. And I forgot why I'm telling you the story about how I sleep. Why am I telling you the story about how I sleep? Anyways, I'll connect those dots, I'm sure, later. So I get to, that's why. Because the tingle in my leg. Because of running and all this crap and sleeping the wrong way and this and that. I always have little aches and pains and tingles, and I'm pushing 40. It's not long. It's fastly approaching. These things just come with the territory. So I literally had the thought, it's just psychosomatic. You're just imagining a tingle in your leg, freaking stop being a wuss and get to your office and start your day. So I get to my office and I open up my bag, and guess what? The entire bottle, 24 ounces of Pepsi, well, except for the one little sip that I took out of it on my way driving into work. The rest of the bottle was in the bottom of my computer bag, along with my computer. And some of it had gone inside of my computer. And so it was done. It was completely done. So I ran to the bathroom with the computer. I started shaking, trying to get all of the Diet Pepsi that I could out of every orifice, which isn't many on the 2020 MacBook. There's only like 3 or 4 holes in that thing. I'm shaking vigorously, trying not to let it slip out and cause more damage, but also shake all of the Pepsi that I could out of it. So while I'm shaking it, I accidentally push the on button. It turns on, so I know it was working. Unfortunately, once you complete the circuit and add power to the circuit, and it's wet, bad things are bound to happen. So of course, it did turn off, or I turned it off, but then it never came back to life. So I was bummed, but surprisingly, maybe it was because I just still haven't realized the gravity of the situation, or maybe it's just because I've had probably the worst years of my life within the last 5 years. Safe to say, yeah, definitely the worst years of my life. So many horrible. Well, no, not the worst. My worst years were my entire childhood, but my worst adult years were like the last 5 years. And so I think all of the other stuff in comparison to just getting Pepsi in the MacBook, yeah, I wasn't super happy, but I was okay. I could put it into perspective, and I realized that it's kind of a first world problem and really not worth getting upset about. There's far worse things happening to focus on and be upset about. So I took it to the authorized Mac repair place, and I'm not really used to owning Apple products, so it was a little bit of a shock for the repair, but it is what it is. I look at it like a idiot tax for morons that put liquids inside of their computer bag and don't pay attention when their leg feels a little wet. So lesson learned there, but the bummer is I have to use this desktop to do my podcast, and that means that I'm kind of at the mercy of my soon-to-be 10-year-old. I have to pry him off of the computer, and so right now he's with his mom while she's doing Fit by Zumba, or she's instructing it actually. And so I had a little time, so I thought I would do one of these here podcasts. And I don't have my computer for school for a little bit, but hopefully it'll be a quick turnaround. Anyways, enough about that. What else has happened? Oh, yeah. So I've been on some pretty cool runs back up at Volcano, because they did open part of the park is open. They did close it past a certain point, which I can never remember most of the names, especially the Hawaiian names. I'm sorry. I could definitely look it up, and maybe I should do that while I'm talking to you. But so I have been on a couple couple runs up there since they sort of reopened the trails, and it's been nice to get back up there. When we first moved here, I used to run around the neighborhoods, so like Orchid Land and Hawaiian Paradise Park, and those are okay places to run, but there's lots of dogs tied up in people's yards, or loose in people's yards, or loose in the street, or sometimes not even people's dogs, just dogs running around. So there's also fast-moving vehicles. People drive like crazy. So running inside the neighborhood, while there is certainly enough distance, the neighborhood that I live in is 6 miles by 6 miles, and there was a fire truck or transfer truck or something going down Paradise Drive. There's enough distance for sure. You could host, I was going to say hold, but then I decided to say host. You could host like marathons and stuff inside of our neighborhood for sure. You could host an ultra inside of our neighborhood if you wanted to. Just do go to the end of the road, make a right, and then go down that road to the other end, make a left, so on and so forth, down to the ocean and then back. So let me go ahead and focus on getting this map for Volcano National Park up. I've got the paper ones. I've got a ton of paper ones. I don't have them handy. I don't want to make you guys wait, even through the magic of pausing the recording and then getting back on. So I'm looking at Haleakala, which is not on this island. They kind of tricked me. Let's see. They're asking. Okay, let me pull up the map. Oop, just had it. Okay, so I do believe that Pu'uhuluhulu is as far as you can go. I think the roads are closed past that, and actually the road that goes out to the kind of desert camp area, that has also been closed the last few times I've been up there. So if you're going to Volcano, just know that you're going to be on the trail, on like Devastation Trail and the Byron Ridge Trail, like those that are up sort of proximal to the visitor center. There's nothing wrong with those trails whatsoever. It's just that so little trails are open and so many people are visiting the park now because there ain't jack else to do, that it can get a little crowded just depending on the day of the week and the weather and all that. So, but cool thing that I discovered last weekend, I believe it was on Saturday, I went for kind of like a twofer. I was originally going to run out the trail that goes down to the Pu'uo Lookout, and there's like a campsite. It's like a remote campsite down there, but I believe that trail closes well before you get to the Pu'uo Lookout. You know what? Actually, I'm going to have to pause this recording anyway because I'm getting an alert that the keyboard batteries are very low. So I'm going to pause and I'll be right back. And I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to find batteries. Legend has it that there would be a son born unto us, and that sun would turn about 10 and use up all the damn batteries in the house. So it took me forever to find the right size batteries to go in this keyboard, but I finally did. So yeah, talking about Volcano, there's all kinds of guidance on what's closed um, and all that. So I don't want to read it all. Actually, I was thinking about reading it because it's often nice to just hear a soothing voice read the park closures. But if you want to see them, just go to nps.gov slash HAVO, like Hawaiian volcano, right? HAVO slash plan your visit slash conditions dot HTM. And that will tell you all the alerts and conditions and all that jazz. Or I think an easier address that you can go to is just nps.gov slash HAVO slash index.htm. I don't know. That's really not easier. Just Google Hawaiian Volcanoes National Park. You can look at all that. But anyway, it's a beautiful park. It is kind of the jewel of Big Island, I think, because there's no place else quite like it on the entire Big Island. We're lucky that that we have it, and who knows how long it will it will be there in its current state. Things change from day to day. But it's nice to be on the trails, and so I got to go on some, just 5 miles on just a jaunt out onto kind of like a trail that it's the Pu'uhuluhulu Trail, I do believe, and it keeps going. I want to say like round trip is 14 miles, so I think it's 7 miles out and then 7 miles back. I can't find a map that's giving me exactly what I want to see. These maps don't zoom very well, or I don't know how to use the zoom on this thing. Let's see. There we go. All right. So, which trail did I go on? So yeah, so there's Napa'u Crater. Okay, yeah. So Napa'u Trail stems off, I believe, from the trail that I was on. Or no, it was, yeah. Pu'uhuluhulu, that is on the side of Napa'u Trail. And so that's what I was actually on. And it says that it is 7 miles. And so Napa'u Crater is the, it's kind of like the stopping point. There's a campsite down there with like, I think a composting toilet. And you can see Pu'u'o'o, which is no longer erupting, I don't think. I think that's an accurate statement. But I believe that you cannot even go that far. I don't even know if you can go 5 miles onto Napa'u Trail. I'm not sure. Actually, I've got a map in my truck. Let me just go get it. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back, but I was thinking that the map that they gave me recently, which is just on like a 14 by 11, I think, sheet of Xerox paper. I was thinking that it would give the updated closures, but I don't think that it does, because it doesn't really have big X's, and it looks like from this piece of paper that you could actually go to the Hawaii Sea Arch, which is way down near the emergency access road. So yeah, so sorry, I can't help you with the exact places that are closed, but anyways, so yeah, so I did about 2.5 miles out the Napa'u Trail, and then 2.5 back, And I'll bet you that I barely got past Uhulu. I did get to go up to, there's like a overlook, like the trail splits, and you can go up. So I got some good elevation on that run. And I got to go up and down on the way out and up and down on the way back. So that was good. Unfortunately, or fortunately for that one, I think it did actually, my Garmin did actually upload that to Strava. But the second run I did, and oh, by the way, I didn't feel like testing the limits of that trail and kind of go. I would have, if it would have been a clearer day, and if there would have been a little bit more people out. That's the problem with the park nowadays, is that there's not that many people past like kind of the parking lot, right? So at least not on this particular trail. So you got a lot of people proximal to the parking lot, but then you start getting out further and further, less and less people, and then I don't ever know when there's going to be a sign. They're really good about marking the closed areas, or at least from everything that I've seen, they've always been really good about marking closed areas in Volcano Park. But you never know. And I didn't want to get too far out and then get in a situation and realize that nobody's coming to look for me, and there's no hope. So I just turned around at 2.5 miles, which doesn't seem like that much, but you go run it, okay, pal? You go out there and run across the dangerous, slippery lava, because, oh, by the way, it was raining that day as well. So it's not as easy as it sounds, 2.5 miles over that stuff, but it was good, and I'm not complaining, and I had fun. It was nice to get back out on that trail because I hadn't been in such a long time. Eventually, I hope that they will open it on up and you can go back down to Napahu Crater and the Pu'u Overlook, but time will tell. So for the second half of that day, I decided to go back up towards the visitor center and park in the Devastation Trail parking lot. And then I didn't go on Devastation Trail, but I did go back south, and there's a place where there's a crosswalk, and then you can get on a little trail that I used to think went about 2.5 miles and kind of ended at the Thurston lava tube. A little bit of foreshadowing there. So this time I was running this trail, and it goes, so it's kind of completely different from the Napahu Trail. Napahu Trail is like a volcanic wasteland of like steam vents and solid rock, hard lava. And you've got beautiful ohia, and maybe it's not ohia, but maybe some kind of shrub that looks a lot like ohia. That the name escapes me right now, but yeah. So it's kind of sparse vegetation-wise, mostly like just black, hardened lava. The second trail that I did was kind of like opposite. It's softer dirt / mud ground, like rainforest surroundings, a lot of ferns, and a lot of birds. Saw a lot of birds that day. So that was nice, and I got to the 2.5 point, and then there's a horse gate and there's a pig gate. And this was like right at Thurston Lava Tubes. And so I went through the gate, because I always do, because even though Thurston Lava Tubes closed, I'm a rebel, and I like to just go I don't go into the tubes because, of course, that's closed, and I'm not that much of a rebel. But I do go on the little paved walkway back in there, and so as I'm coming through the gate, there's a couple that's walking back from like towards where the Thurston lava tubes were, and so I'm like, where were they? Like, what were they doing? And I was also like, I do not want to turn around now because then I'm going to pass them again, and that's going to be weird because that's how my mind works. So I decided on this day, 2.5 miles wasn't really doing it for me on that trail. I was feeling gassed out for sure. Like the first 5 on the Pau Trail, it kind of did me in, like it gassed me out. I hadn't had like a lot for breakfast that day, and I had drank some beers the night before. We'll talk about that later, which I don't normally do, but again, we'll talk about that later. So I was really gassed out on the second trail, but I was thinking, this is opportunity right here. I am feeling, gassed out. So let's go ahead and keep moving because this is good training for when this comes up in any race or just any time that I'm out doing long distance, and then it hits me. And so I decided to keep going. I went over the paved trail, which is not much, that goes past the trail that leads down to Thurston lava tubes, and then I come out on the other side on what looks like a access road, like a gravel road / horse trail, but there's no markings. Like I said before, they do a pretty good job of marking off stuff that is closed or out of bounds. There's really no questioning, unless you're a complete moron, of what is closed inside of Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. And so they did have the trail down to Thurston lava tubes closed, but this horse trail was wide open. So I just kept going, and it actually went, I think, how far did it go? Like maybe another mile, something like that, on this horse trail. I might be lying. I might be wrong. I think I ended up doing 6 miles altogether. So yeah, about another mile. Sorry, my family came home. I don't know why, but I don't like to do my podcast in front of my family. So I stopped, even though they can totally listen to this anytime they want to on the internet. But yeah, so I think I blathered on about the park forever. Oh, yeah. I didn't finish my story. So I just banged on the desk too and made a loud noise. So I go down this horse trail. I think it was like another mile. So round trip, 6 miles. I think total for the day was like 11 miles. So that was good for me. And it was at a lot higher elevation than I'm used to. So I think all in all, the elevation I think is like 3,980 feet up there at Volcano. And so what I've been doing is very close to zero above sea level down on Beach Road. And so I definitely notice a difference when I do go up to Volcano and do some hill climbs or something like that. The weekend before this last one, I went up there and did a Devastation Trail and went down into the crater and then back up over towards the volcano house. And I went out through the sulfur fields and then back around all the way back out to Devastation Trail parking lot. That's where I parked. And so I didn't bring any food with me that day because I wasn't planning on doing any kind of crazy distance. And by the time I got back into Cal, like I was feeling like low blood sugar or something effects, like just not really tunnel vision, but the sun was like messing with my eyes, and I couldn't like focus. Because I think it was just from not eating, and then sorry, I keep banging this desk. There, I just did it again. I think it was from doing that workout at that elevation. I know people are out there laughing because it's 3,980 feet, but hey, whatever, man. I'm used to running down by this beach because of the COVID. The COVID's got me locked up. But yeah, so rainforest run, little lava run. So that was good stuff. And then finding that new horse trail. And so actually there is, so I turned left, and that took me towards Thurston Lava. But you can also turn right, and there's another gate down the hill, and I have no idea where that goes. No idea. And so, again, I've said this before, it never ceases to amaze me how many places there are that I have no knowledge of, like just right under my nose. And so I'm always discovering a new place to run, or just a new place in general, just things that I never knew existed. And so that was my good day at Volcano. And on the way back to the house, of course, I did bring food that day, so I ate, and then headed back towards the house. But I got to stop off. A friend of a friend was having a small get together for the 4th of July, and they were like grilling outside, and it just happened to be at a coffee shop, and I just happened to get some coffee while I was there. Free coffee, thank you very much. But I'm going to try to find this place so I don't butcher the name. But I believe it was Koana Coffee Shop, and this is in Mountain View. Sorry, I got to turn this keyboard back on. Koana Coffee, Mountain View. Yep, that's it. So it's Koana. It's just called Koana, and it looks like it is open on Tuesdays through Saturdays, closed on Mondays and Sundays, it looks like, but open Tuesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. I would go in there and buy a cup of coffee for sure. Matter of fact, I may start just making that part of my trip, since I know that the owner, I guess, is a friend of a friend, and they had some damn good coffee. So if you are in Mountain View, look for Koana Coffee. Koana Coffee. And they do not have a website, but they're on Facebook. So maybe I need to talk to them about that. Maybe I need to hook them up with a website. Who knows? But anyway, so super nice people too. I didn't stay long, but it was nice to hang out with some folks for a minute and drink some coffee and exchange some stories and get ridiculed, and then come back home and have a little festivities of my own. Other good thing, I'll talk about the festivities in a minute, but other good thing that has happened recently, I finally got my greenhouse, like maybe like it's been close to a month ago, and I put the thing together, but there's a cuckoo clock. I put the thing together, but I had not really done much with it. I had some shutters that I took off the house because they were non-functional, and kind of they didn't have shutters on every window, so it was like mismatched. So I took them off, and I was able to make some tables to put inside the greenhouse. out of those, kind of repurpose those shutters. And so I finally got around to doing that this past weekend and planted some stuff, and it looks like I've already got some okra or something growing in there. And so that was cool. Good to see that not going to waste anymore. It's been just sitting in the yard for a little bit. And so on to the festivities. So I tell you, like, when they say drinking puts on weight, it definitely does. I, for whatever reason, decided that I needed to purchase alcoholic beverages for the weekend before last. I think we were planning on maybe having some folks over, but in the end, it didn't work out because nobody that I invited actually came over. Big surprise. But I had gotten some beer, and I usually stick to what I know and what I like, because Hawaii is such a tropical climate. I usually drink the same beer that I drank when I was in Okinawa, and that's Orion, just because it's a very light, kind of refreshing beer. But I do not drink that much. Like, very rarely do I partake in alcohol. So I was at the store and I was looking around and something caught my eye, and I didn't get the Orion, even though it is like one of my favorite beers, because I got distracted by this 2020 Bigfoot barley wine style ale. It's made by Sierra Nevada, and it's got a Bigfoot on the label in a little forest, and then it looks like a prospector with his donkey that's loaded down with prospecting equipment, and they are frightened at the sight of Bigfoot in the woods. And so I got it for a few reasons. If you know me, which nobody does because I don't have any friends and nobody likes me, but if you did know me, you would know that anything with Bigfoot on it, I'm game. So I don't know if I really believe in Bigfoot, at least not like the people on the documentaries do. I want to believe. I've kind of like got a Mulder outlook on Bigfoot. I want to believe, but I don't really know. All signs point to no, basically. But yeah, so Bigfoot's on there, so that's a shoe-in for me. And then the barley wine thing, kind of, I don't know what that is. I was not familiar. Had I known, or had I paid a little bit more attention, I probably wouldn't have got this, because like I said before, I don't drink that much. But so this stuff is 9.6% by volume, and it's not horrible, but it does definitely taste like alcohol. And so I've actually got a bottle out because I didn't want to mess up all the details. I'm going to put it back in my refrigerator, and I'll be right back. And I'm back. So I drank one bottle of that, or actually, I drank 1/3 of a bottle of that. And this was not the 4th of July weekend, but the weekend before. And it was, I didn't even try to get buzzed off of that stuff. And so now I've got 5 more in my refrigerator, and I guess I'll just leave them there until a special occasion or something. But yeah, so this computer was prompting for low batteries on the keyboard, but I just replaced the batteries, so I don't know how they could be low again. I think that it's being silly. But anyways, I went to the store this last weekend on like Friday or Saturday, and they had hoppy packs from Red Hook, which is another beer that I really like. So this was like a pack of IPAs. I think they're all IPAs, but like different flavors. So there was like a peach one, and there was something called like Robato, and one that was had lime. They all have cool names, but I can't remember them. Busta Lime or something like that. Whatever. Uh, so I had those, but didn't drink a bunch of those. I don't know why this turned into a conversation about alcohol, but I just thought I would tell you about the assorted alcohols that I purchased. It really had nothing to do with anything. I didn't like get wasted or anything. I don't really drink to excess, but it was nice to have that hoppy pack. It was okay. I'm not really a huge IPA fan, but I liked it. The ones that I tried. But yeah, so the funny things about the get together for the 4th of July, I stopped and visited my friend, and he was with his friend. So it was like friend of a friend, and there were other friends that I don't know any of them except for my friend. And he's got not a roommate, but somebody that's renting the guest house of his property that just moved this week, I think, or maybe not this week, maybe a couple of weeks ago. But it's kind of brand new to the island, and I was hanging out with my buddy. And so they were planning on leaving that party at some point and then coming to my house to hang out. And so they did later on, and we watched Adam Sandler movies and just kind of grilled out with my family and my friend and his not roommate but renter, I guess, slash co-worker, I believe. And that was fun. And so during that, we have a very our friendship is based on sarcasm, snark, and like ripping on each other. So my buddy, he says to me, this is later after we're at my house and I'm like cooking on the grill or whatever. He says to me, you know, my roommate, whatever, renter friend. I don't think he called him renter friend or roommate, but you get the picture. He says, he was surprised because he said that you don't really look like an ultra runner. And so that was funny to me. I've got a pretty good sense of humor about my appearance and how little I look like really anything close to athletic or runner or whatever. So that I found hilarious. And I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. He says he didn't think you looked anything like a ultra runner. He was surprised about that, but he did say that you have some pretty attractive calves. And so that was even more funny. And I don't know if the poor guy said that I had attractive calves or if my friend was just embellishing. I'm inclined to think that my friend was embellishing a little bit just in order to embarrass him and me a little bit. But that was funny. I appreciated the ripping. And I've said on this podcast before, and I'll say it again, like I openly apologize for running shirtless in all the areas that I do so. And I don't ever take myself, seriously in that light. I don't ever think I look like a badass because I've seen too many race photos to let that mental image take over. Like I know what I look like out there, but I do it because I like it, and I'm fine. There's nothing I can do about my appearance. Believe me, I do all that I can. I run almost every day, so I guess if I ran like 20 miles a day, maybe I would look a little different. Or if I stopped eating for a month or so. But anyways, I'm not going to do that. I thought it was funny. I'm trying to think of some other good rips. The night were full of them. The night was full of them, but we just had fun. I think we watched. What do we watch? Uh, I get them all mixed up because I've been watching a lot of Sandler movies. Netflix is full of them. I think he had to do. Excuse me. I think he had to do a lot of comedies in order to get permission to do this kind of sad one that he did about the guy that gambles, Uncut Gems, or I forgot the name of it. I like that movie. I just can't remember the name of it, but yeah. So, what were the names of some of those that we watched? I know one of them was Father of the Year, and then the one before that. It was one with him and David Spade where he's like Adam Sandler's like a secret agent, and David Spade's like living a double life. I'll find it. Looking. The Do-Over. Yeah, that's a great one on Netflix. There's a bunch of them. Like I liked Sandy Wexler. I thought that was all right. Do-Over was really good, and then the one that he did with Jennifer Anderson, Jennifer Aniston. Sorry, Murder Mystery. That one was good too. Anyway. So that's what we did. We watched that 13-year-old humor, and ate a bunch of grilled meats and watermelon, and I drank a couple of beers, and like I was saying, I told you I would get back to that. So I think I had, a couple, 2 or 3 beers, like 3 nights in a row. So like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we grilled out. I think 2 out of 3 nights, or maybe 3 out of 3 nights. But while I'm sitting out there with the grill and I've got the TV on, I sit and I'll have a little beer. Why not? So I think I gained like 4 or 5 pounds off of doing that for 3 nights. So I would definitely say like don't make drinking a habit, just for the weight gain perspective. I'm sure I'll burn that extra weight off, but I was surprised, and it may have also had something to do with all of the food that we ate over the weekend. I didn't really like gorge on food, but I probably ate more than usual, plus drinking. So if you want to not get fat, don't drink every night. And I think it's not good for you because of esophageal cancer and stuff like that too. So anyways, I'm going to take a sip of water here. But yeah, so all in all, pretty good weekend. And then I got back to running on Beach Road yesterday. And so remember I told you about the blind bad boys of Beach Road? Well, it's gotten worse. So, not yesterday. Well, actually, yes, yesterday. But I think on Friday, I was out on Beach Road and I was running. I think I did 8 miles on Friday. And so these dogs, they all live, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the blind bad boys of Beach Road, there is a house that is about half a mile from where I usually start my runs. And you can't really see the house from the road because it's covered with the jungle, underbrush and all that. There's a long driveway, I'm assuming, and you can always hear dogs out in the kind of in the near distance, if that makes sense. So it's muffled dogs, but it doesn't sound like one or two or five dogs. It sounds more like if you went to visit the Humane Society, you know, but it's all muffled, and so you really can't tell like how many dogs there are. Well, I know from the past I've seen at least five dogs all together in a pack out at the end of this driveway. And so these are not not big dogs. They're not super aggressive breeds. No, not pit bulls or Rottweilers or pinchers or shepherds or anything like that. They're little. I don't even know what to call them. They're not like little frou-frou dogs like Shih Tzu or something like that. But um, they're not big tough dogs either. But they're big enough to where if there's, four or five of them and they start laying into you, you would have a bad day, right? Even if they got your calf or something like that, it wouldn't be pretty. And so I'd never underestimate dogs because, like I say, I've been bitten a couple times, been bitten in the face, and I've been bitten right on my leg, like right in the calf. And one of those was a family dog. The other one was somebody else's family dog, just a good old chocolate lab, probably a kind and gentle soul. Just got startled by me and decided he would take a bite of my leg. But anyways, so I don't really take that for granted, and I'm kind of weary of every dog that I encounter when I'm out on runs. And so I'll get to the point. I believe it was Friday. I get, I had gotten out late, and so I needed to make some time. And so I started running before I usually would. Usually I'll take about a half mile and just walk, kind of like get everything, kind of greased up, get the joints moving, kind of get a little bit of sweat going, reduce friction and all that. So I started running earlier, and so by the time I got to the house where these dogs live, I guess they noticed me running. I can't see them, but apparently they can see me because I started to hear the barking pick up. And so right as I passed the driveway, I heard a thud. And so it was kind of like a thud where a screen door might hit back on the door frame, spring back and hit real hard like that thud. So I hear this thud, and I hear this aggressive little yippy like bark, and I didn't even take time to think. It was just a fight or flight, just in the snap of a finger. I was like, oh fudge, except I didn't say fudge, right? So I just start hauling tail down this road as fast as I can. I weigh over 200 pounds, so I'm not like a super fast runner, but as fast as my legs could carry me, which is really not the right thing to do, but in the moment I wasn't even thinking. I start hauling tail. Sure enough, like at least five dogs come racing out of this driveway and start chasing me like aggressively. They were so fast. I couldn't believe how fast these dogs were. I turned around, right, because I wasn't gassed, but I just wanted to see like how close these things were to me, because I could hear the barking getting close, but I couldn't physically like see them. So I turn around and one of them is like right behind me. So lucky for me, these dogs weren't huge. And also lucky for me, these dogs were kind of only brave when my back was turned to them and I was running away. So as soon as I turned around, the dog that was right behind me stopped. And so I kind of like yelled at him a little bit. I was like, go home, whatever. And he didn't really back off, but he didn't run at me anymore. And so I kind of just like started walking and kind of yelling at them all to go back home. So nothing happened. They went back eventually. I think they barked at me until I got out of view. And I went for the rest of my run, however long that was. I can't remember if I did 8 miles or 5 miles or what, but on the way back, sure enough, I'm running by that house again. And I would have thought that the owners would have put them back in a gate or put them in a house, because we raised quite a ruckus on the first go around, but no such luck. As soon as I passed that house, I heard the barking again, and there they were. They zoomed out of the driveway and were running me down. And so I just ran as fast as I could, pretty much like back up the hill and part of the way back to my truck. And they never did catch up with me, but that's a lesson for me. Don't run away from dogs, because they will definitely chase you then. And it kind of gets them excited. I guess it's just they're going in for the kill, so that primal instinct takes over. But yeah, lucky for me, they didn't catch me. But so that happened on, I think, Friday, and then Saturday I was out at Volcano, and then Sunday back out again. Same thing, except this time I was walking. I was walking past, and I thought I'd made it. I got past the driveway, and I was maybe, I don't know, like 20 feet past the driveway walking, and all of a sudden these dudes came running out. I got lucky, because right as they came running out, there was a group of like 3 or 4 cars that were coming in the opposite direction, and it kind of distracted the dogs, and I was able to make my way out past them. But on the way back, around the time that I was getting close to this house, there was a elderly couple walking on the road, and so I didn't want to make a bunch of noise, hollering at them. And then too, maybe these dogs don't attack elderly. Maybe they just hate me because they see me running by there every day. So they were too far ahead for me to really catch up with them, and I didn't want to start yelling and stuff. But I caught up with them about the time that they were going past this driveway, and I just I let them know. I was like, watch out, because I saw the woman had a hiking stick, and so I thought that they would be okay, but I let them know anyway, hey, these guys in here, and I think that's exactly how I said it. So I wasn't really specific whether I was talking about the dogs or talking about the people that own the house, or whatever. Maybe I was talking about mongoose or something, but I told them, these guys in here, they hate me, so just watch out. They may come chasing after me. And the lady, what did she say? Oh, she said something like, "Oh dear," or something like that. It was like the standard older lady response to a situation like that. So the dogs didn't actually come out, as far as I know, but I did run as fast as I could up the hill and all the way back to my truck. And so now that's kind of become a thing, getting past this house. I sort of dread these dogs, because I don't know when they're going to get their mettle up and actually start attacking me, because they're pretty vicious. I've been close proximity to them before, and I'm not one of these people that tries to reach out and touch strange dogs, so I wasn't trying to pressure them into let me pet them or anything, but standing proximal to them, and they would get close to me and lunge at me, and I would try to back out and keep going. And it was like a Walking Dead episode with these dogs jumping at me and trying to nip and stuff. So kind of intense, but it's just this one house. The other 8 miles are fine. So yeah, sorry about that. I had to stop recording for a minute, but yeah. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about Old Beach Road. I mean, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep going down there and running on Beach Road until I find a suitable alternative, or they open up Narnia again. But yeah. So we'll see. I don't want to hurt the dogs because, like I said, they all look like they're blind. I think little fire ants attack, animals around here, and they get in the eyes, and I think that may be what happened to. They don't get inside the eyes, but they bite around the eye, or they bite the eye itself, and it looks like it's just a real cloudy lens. So for all intents and purposes, I believe these animals are partially blind. But so I feel bad for them, and I can understand why they're a little bit ornery. But at the same time, like, I don't really need a pack of dogs chasing me and trying to bite my ankles off every time I pass this one house. But yeah, so that's one interesting thing. I haven't seen a lot of white vans down there recently, so that's good. And not a whole lot of the smell of death either, because that was becoming pretty routine. I think most of that was chickens and, like hog. People will kill wild hogs, and then, like, sometimes they'll take the meat and, like, throw the rest of the carcass on the side of the road. Or sometimes I don't think they even take anything, and they just throw the whole thing off the side of the road into a ditch. So you get these really gross smells in some areas where they do that. Some jerks, they just throw, their trash on the side of the road. So that too can be stinky. It's a big problem. Speaking of the other thing on Beach Road that's happened over the last week, I went to run. I don't even know what day, so I'm not even going to try to pretend like I remember the day, but we'll just say it was early last week, right? So I go for my normal afternoon run. I get down there. There's a police truck blocking the road. Now is not a really good time to really be questioning the police, or even interacting with them, at least in my opinion. I respect everybody, on a professional and also just on a human level. So I'm not going to try to cause trouble, but I was kind of curious. So I even though I could clearly see that the road was blocked, I just kind of asked, what was going on, or whatever, like in the least entitled way that I possibly could. And the cop that was there, he was fine about it, but you could tell, like, he didn't want to be standing there for sure, and he definitely wasn't into helping me. But he gave me the best answer that he could muster, which was there was a fire on the road, and the road was closed, and so that was that. I just didn't make much of a deal about it. I turned my my truck around and I went home. Well, the next day I went back, and the road was open again. Parked in my normal place, started running my normal route, and came across a VW station wagon that was wrecked on the side of the road. And it had one of those warning stickers that the cops put on your car, like if you need to move it right away. And it didn't look like this VW was going to be moved at all. So that's another problem in Hawaii, is people abandon cars. And I have a feeling that if history is going to repeat itself, this car will eventually end up on fire out in the middle of, on the side of the road in the middle of Beach Road out there. But because that's a common sight, is to see like a burned out car just in random places in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, so I come down the road and I see this VW and somebody had already taken the wheels and it looked like the windows were bashed out, maybe from the accident, but it looked like maybe a coconut had fallen on the windshield, or maybe a head went into the windshield because it was bashed just in like one place. So I don't know. I hope everybody was okay. Looked like all the airbags were deployed and all that jazz. So I'm not sure if the accident happened there or if the accident happened somewhere else and they just dumped the car there. But there was a person actively removing parts from this car. I don't think it was their car, but as I approach, and remember I've said before, I take a pretty devil-may-care attitude about all of the goings-on around me, because I'm just trying to get out and, get my run complete and then safely make my way home and into my armchair or whatever. So I'm not giving this guy any static whatsoever. I'm just, pretending like I'm not even there. But as I pass, he looks up and he's like, yeah, he starts explaining, I don't want it to go to waste. I'm like, hey, hey, that's your business. And I went on, minding my business. And so that was the first time, but like I've seen the appearance of this station wagon just deteriorate over the last week. Like more and more parts keep going missing from it. And so, like I say, I'm assuming like eventually it will be nothing but a rusted out, burned out carcass on the side of the road. But we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you updated. Trying to think about anything else that happened on Beach Road. Besides the fire, not much. Take just a few minutes because I wanted to give a shout out to New Saigon. It's a pho place in Hilo. Want to make sure I'm getting the name right. You can probably hear my neighbors. They are calling their dog. I think their dog got out, and so they're trying to get the dog back in the yard. Anyways, yeah, so it's New Saigon, Vietnamese restaurant. Is it the best pho in town? I don't know. It's the only one that I ever go get. So I went there yesterday, and it's been a long time, like possibly a year since I got pho from this place. And so we got some beef ball pho for everybody at the house, and I actually ate it before I went on my run with the jalapenos and sriracha and everything. And it was good. And I did make it through the run. I did have to make some stops, though. But yeah, so New Saigon restaurant, if you're in Hilo, you need to go there. It's right across the street from Ice Ponds, where the kids jump over, or they get on top of the rail and jump into Ice Pond. It's right across the street. Go there. It's, I believe, owned and operated by a sweet Vietnamese family, I believe. And they've always been really nice to me, and the service has always been pretty good when I go there, and the food's always excellent. I only ever get pho, so, and summer rolls, not the fried ones, but the ones that are like rice wrapper, and like they've got, what's the leaf called? I can't remember the leaf, but it's kind of like a minty cilantro type flavor. I think it's called summer roll. But I think that's the only thing I've ever gotten from there. But it's always good, and I like them. and I endorse them. So New Saigon Restaurant, that's 96 Kalani. Oh, this is a tough one. Kalania Naole. Kalania Naole. I'm not good with these names. It's right across the street from iSpawns. So if you're in the area, go there. I don't think they have a website, but yeah, New Saigon, the place for pho. So I was excited about eating there. I tell you what, I have not had it in a little bit, but if you're in the market for some Korean food, you need to go to Yun's Kitchen. That's YOONS. Yoon's Kitchen, Hilo. Most of the stuff you can make at home, but if you don't feel like it, like me, you can go to Yoon's Kitchen and you can get some bibimbap or whatever other kind of Korean food you like. So go there. Do that. I hear their chicken's good too. I've never had it, but it's good. Yes, the price point is a little high, but it's worth it. Yep. And so because my family's home and because they're being held hostage inside of their rooms while I record this podcast, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it for now. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry that I didn't get too much stuff about running in there. It was mostly about like beers and other things, food. So it shows you where my priorities are. But yeah, so one thing that I want to do is I want to get more running related content on this podcast, and because I feel like it's devolved into just me telling the same type of personal anecdotes like every time. And so I know that can't be interesting for everybody or anybody really. So I want to get more like how to and sort of running related content onto the podcast. And I would like for some of that to be in the form of having guests on. So if you're interested, if you run, I don't care if you're really good, because I'm not really good or experienced. But if you want to come on and talk about running and have roosters or my neighbors or my family or a cuckoo clock in the background, then let me know. You can email me, I guess. I think my email is on the Running Thought podcast site, I believe. I may need to set up some kind of contact form or something, but somehow find a way to get in touch with me. I know if you go to thedynamicclient.com, that's my my personal site, and so business.thedynamicclient.com, that's my quote-unquote business site. So I know that's got my contact info on it, but if you want to get in touch with me and we can arrange to do a podcast together, I think it would be cool. I think it would be a lot better and a lot more interesting than just hearing my voice for, an hour or two. And I'm always eager to share and talk about running or whatever with other people. So, just reach out. Let me know. I wanted to give a shout out to my buddy Chris. I've talked about him before on this podcast, but he's getting ready to run the Georgia Jewel, hopefully, fingers crossed, in September. And I wish him a lot of luck on that. He's been training really hard, and I think he's been listening to the podcast. He didn't say whether he liked it or not, so hopefully he's finding it somewhat beneficial. But thank you for tuning in to at least some of them. And I think he liked he gave me some kudos on Strava. So thanks for that. But yeah, so shout out to him. Good luck on your training. It looks like you're doing all the right things. So keep it up. If you want to be on the podcast, let me know, because I'd love to have you. Trying to think what else. Oh, yeah. So I got this idea in my head and it's not fully formed. It's not even like partly formed and it may be pie in the sky, but I want to do it. It's going to take a lot of training though. So I had this idea that I wanted to go back to Okinawa because I love Okinawa and I wanted to run around the entire island. And so I was thinking on that, and I still want to do that. But the problem with that is right now with COVID, maybe not the safest time to be traveling. Also, just, with job security being what it is, non existent, I don't know if it's the best time to be spending a bunch of money to go to an island and vacation for however long it takes to run around the thing. So I was thinking, well, I live on an island and it's a pretty big island. I could always just run around this one. And I kind of want to do that anyway. I've run in different parts of this island and I've definitely run enough on this island to have run around it. But so that's kind of a plan of mine. It's kind of like still being formed. So if you want to get on here and talk about how I can do that, or if you got tips or anything, my ears are open. Or if you want to help in any way, or if you want to run with me or whatever. So that's my plan. So I want to run around Okinawa. I want to do that for sure. But before I do that, I also want to run around Big Island. I know this has been done before because there's actually an ultra that you can sign up for, and it's like a 300 miler, I believe. I think they have like a 100, 200, and 300 mile event, and it's totally self-supported, and I forgot the name of it. I'm sorry. If I remember it or if I can look it up, I'll mention it the next time I do a podcast. But so that's my goal now, is to run all the way around Big Island. And so when I say all the way around, I'm thinking highway. So running around on the highways, not necessarily like coastline or probably not going over Saddle Road, but like go from Keio to Hilo to up towards Honoka, and then Waimea, and back down toward Kona, back to, down to South Point, up towards Ka'u, and then Ka'u to Volcano to Keio again, I guess. Yeah. So around that way. So I've not thought about any of like the medical logistics or the food logistics or any of that. I've not mapped it out. I've not talked to anybody. I'm thinking like bare minimum. I need to. Well, I definitely need to have support vehicle, and I'm going to try to reach out to Dr. Garrison over on Honolulu and see if he's got any advice. And I may need to have some. Well, so my wife's a nurse practitioner, but I don't know if she would be super helpful with emergency medicine for like this kind of endeavor. So there's a lot to think about, but and permitting too. I don't know if you have to have a permit to do stuff like that. I'm a moron, so I don't think about these things until like the day before. So I've got to sit down and like start doing some more concrete planning. But yeah, so that's my goal, and I'm thinking I'll begin pursuing that probably after I graduate grad school around this time next year. So I'm gonna start training for it before then. And for training, how do you even train for that? I don't know. I've been contemplating running to work even, like from my house, and so that's about 25 miles. So I don't know if that would help or not. So I'm completely lost. I'll let you know how it goes, but I just wanted to mention that too. That's my plan. Run around Big Island, and then if that's successful, um, go to Okinawa, and then do the same thing. Because I love Japan, but I also love Okinawa. That's kind of like where my heart is. That was the first country out, or the first place outside of the United States that I ever went, and it's such a beautiful place, and such beautiful people that live there, and it kind of like a simple, laid back lifestyle, and I really love it. I would actually live there if it were possible to, like have income, and if it were feasible, more or less. Like I would definitely live there. Um, but yeah, but I think that's it for this time. I'm gonna set my family free, let them come back out into the rest of the house. But all of you out there, stay safe, and wear a mask, and wash your hands, and love each other. And hopefully I'll do another one of these soon. Keep running, keep doing whatever you do. And if you don't listen to David Goggins, you need to start following him on Instagram, or get his book, and read it, or even better, get the audiobook and listen to him narrate it and talk about it. But yeah, y'all be good, and I'll be back hopefully soon. Take care. Out.